Shabbat Shalom, welcome. Shabbat begins this evening, 9:08 p.m. The earliest you can light your Shabbat candles is 7:39 p.m. And in the beautiful, glorious sunshine, Shabbat ends tomorrow at 10:28 p.m. Please do join us for a pre-Shabbat, Ruach Kabbalat Shabbat, and we will send out the details. A police officer was waiting along the side of a highway to catch speeding drivers. But this day there weren't many violators. So the state police officer sees an old car puttering along at 22 miles an hour and he thinks, you know what, this driver is just as dangerous as a speeding driver going so slow. So he turns on his light, chases after the car and tells them to pull over. When he approaches the car, he notices that there are 5 elderly ladies, the driver and 4 passengers. And the passengers look look super wide-eyed, like ghosts, as though they've been through some serious traumatic experience. Either way, the driver, a little bit confused, says, "Officer, I don't understand. I've been doing the speed limit. Why did you pull me over?" "Madam," he says, "you weren't speeding, but you should know driving so slow is also dangerous. It's dangerous to other drivers." Slower than the speed limit, officer? I was doing exactly the speed limit," and she's pointing to the 22 sign, which says 22 miles an hour. The officer takes a look and he chuckles and he says, "Madam, that 22 isn't the speed limit, it's the route number. This is Route 22. A little bit embarrassed, the woman grins and thanks the officer for pointing out an error and is about to start to get on her way. And the officer says, "But 1 second, before you go, madam, is everyone in the car okay? Your passengers look awfully shaken. They haven't uttered a single word. It looks like they've gone through some crazy experience." "Oh, they'll be all right in a minute, officer," she says. "We've just got off Route 180. Route 180. Try get the joke. But either way, this week we have learned your prejudiced thoughts can make you a racist. Your singing in shul is a covert threat. And you can win the Premier League title while not physically playing an actual game of football. Where am I getting at with this? You may wonder. Well, these 3 books here will help us. Each is a bestseller in their respective academic disciplines, and they can be categorized as 3 main functions, or faculties rather, with which human beings are superior to other mammals. First, there's Kahneman's Think Fast, Slow. Thought. What does it mean to think? How does the mind work when it does think and when it processes information? Then we've got Pinker's The Language Instinct. Speech. How does a child's brain develop, and with it the ability to master a language and to talk? And finally, action. Bill Gates, in his headline of the analysis of Harari's Homo Deus, his title is, "What if people run out of things to do?" Action. Ironically, all 3 are Jewish authors. But this is the subtotal of our lives as it rotates. We think of things. I have an idea, or I like a person, or I want to build a home. We say things, communicating those ideas, those feelings, or those wants to others. And we do things. We get bricks and mortar, write the code for the app, or buy red roses. Now, according to the Hasidic Kabbalistic discourse and discipline, the characterization of thought, speech, and action is more than an inherent mental or physical power that defines who you are. To the contrary, they do not define who you are at all. Rather, it calls them levushim, clothes. Just like clothes, it is only dressed that you will reveal yourselves to others. And while what you wear expresses your personality, gives us insight to who you are, but it's not actually you. In different days, different occasions, you wear different outfits. And during lockdown, the same outfit, or maybe a different top. So thought, speech, and action, then, are ways in which our soul dresses and enclothes itself to fulfill its purpose and find its place in the physical world, to spiritualize it. The benefit of this definition is twofold. First, like your clothes, you can always change what you think, what you speak, and what you do. They don't define you. And your essence is always good, always special. Second, your soul rarely bears herself, suggesting that there is a mystery of who you are that even you have yet to explore and discover. The Kabbalists described this 3-pronged outfit, as it were, as the letter He, where we have 3 lines: the thought, the speech, and the action. The space over here is between the thought and the speech and the action, because it does have a leap and a journey to achieve. So hay represents a healthy balance of the soul's expression as a conduit of our thought, our speech, and our action. Which takes us to this week's Torah reading, Korach. Now, while Korach ended up being swallowed in the ground, he may have had good intentions when he challenges Moses. He has a spiritual quest, a practice of mitzvot that he wants to challenge. But his mistake was how he expresses it, and the balance of how we've given the Torah's assumed journey of thought, speech, and action, so that it is not simply an attempt by each of us to leave our mark in this world and to figure out our place within it using our own conclusions, rather as conduits to the Torah and of the mitzvot and godliness. Now, that mistake can actually be found in his Hebrew name, Korach. The Hebrew letters are Kuf, Resh, and Chaf. Now, each letter, if you can see them, is rather similar to the healthy hay, but each one has a flaw, a failing in his journey of the three functions of thought, speech, and action. First, you have the Kuf. His left leg continues beyond the right, because sometimes our actions, while good intended, are not in line with the correct thought. Or worse, they may be lowering the standards of expectations of us. Then we have the Resh. Well, he's missing action completely. Some people are overreactive, but some people have inaction. And while some people consider their thoughts are good, I'm a good Jew inside, and we talk about the things that we do, but ultimately most important is the action you must make it happen. Then we have the most similar, the Chet, but his left leg is actually attached to his brain, which might suggest acting out and without processing, and without consulting the correct method. He's jumped straight to it. He leaves no room to escape either from his habitual standards that he has set for himself. So as we wake up to a new reality, the job remains the same. Your soul via your body and its expression as it's enclosed in your most important faculties of thought, speech, and action. What are you thinking? And what impact is it having on you or others? What are you saying? What are you trying to communicate? Is it achieving what you set out to do or what the other person needs to hear? What are you doing? Is it in line with your goals, your sole purpose of why it came to earth? The healthy hay is our aim. Tomorrow, Shabbat, is Hay Tammuz, the 5th day of Tammuz, a good day to meditate on it, this idea. The next hay we have, the 5th of July, is when our shul will reopen and continue prayers as a community. May it be done with good blessings and with peace always. Shabbat Shalom.